Lionel Messi now done all he can at Barcelona, and is it now time for Barcelona to move forward without him? Let's find out in this video, and welcome back to Overline Football. Harry, Lionel Messi, do you know much about him?
Yeah, he's quite good, isn't he? He's quite good at football. He kicks the ball in the goal quite a few times over the years. Won a few.
Basically, we started to go for this video largely because of the result, what happened in the Champions League midweek with the PSG defeat 4-1. We feel like now it's getting to that time where Messi has done all he can at Barcelona now, I believe. There's no point in talking about his stats. Everyone's going to know how ridiculous he's done as a player and also what he's done for the club as well. We're just going to go over kind of thing in this video what really is next for Barcelona and what's next for Messi, really, presumably. So, first we'll start off with Barcelona. This season they are currently sat third in the league. I'll double check how many points behind Atletico they are.
A lot.
Nine behind Atletico. Same amount of games actually, so 9 behind Atletico. The thing is, they're not going to win the league now, I don't think. But they're not going to win the Champions League either now, with a very, very young PSG side doing them over 4-1 at the new camp as well. What are your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I think you're right with the league. It's not going unless Atletico Madrid kind of tail off. They're not going to win that. The Champions League, I don't know. In Barca sides of the past, you've looked at the team sheet and gone, wow, they're going to take some beating. But I looked at the starting lineup against PSG and I was like, it's so distinctly average.
Oh no.
I think what speaks volumes about Barcelona's squad at the moment is that you've still got the likes of Gerard Piqué and Busquets as starting players. That shouldn't be happening. They should be looking to progress every year, but they seem like they're just clinging on to any sort of hope they've had from this past generation that has won them so much, instead of focusing on kind of recruiting for the now. And obviously Messi is kind of suffering for that because it's obvious that if he had his choice, he'd stay at Barcelona for the rest of his career. But in terms of footballing sense, it is probably best for Barca to kind of to end this cycle now and start again, because it's proving year on year now that relying on these old players is not enough. They need a really good squad now.
Well, the only reason he just brought in Miralem Pjanic as well, who's not like young himself, so they did swapped it with Vidal from Juventus, I remember correctly. Jordi Alba's still starting from left back. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to me. Busquets is still walking around the midfield, and Gerard Piqué is now coming back into contention with the squad, coming back from injury as well. So you have those players there now.
Poor financial choices though as well.
Oh yeah, you've got a couple of players at Barcelona like the Frankie de Jong who can make the replacement for Busquets and that kind of stuff. I think
that type of signing, the Frankie de Jong signing, is a signing that's looking long term. You know, he was coming through at Ajax. There was a lot of big clubs in Europe that wanted him. Barcelona managed to get him. Didn't cost him endless amounts of money, but there's been poor financial choices. In particular, the signings of Coutinho and Ousmane Dembele are the two main ones to say, alongside probably Antoine Griezmann. You know, they've just completely distorted the market. It was like I was having a conversation actually the other day about City selling Leroy Sané, and City kind of going, look, Dembele's been sold for 140 million or whatever it was. It was around that mark, wasn't it? So we value Sané at that much. It's just like they completely distorted the market, and that story about Coutinho is hilarious, that they can't play him at the moment because if he makes another, is it 5 appearances, they have to pay Liverpool an extra £7 million, and they just cannot afford that at the moment in time, which is crazy to see. And having these sort of players puts them in a significant disadvantage going into the transfer window, because
they're
going to have to sell to buy, and it's not like they can. I don't know. They're not like they can compete with the likes of PSG, Chelsea, Manchester City at the moment in time financially, because they're just skint.
Well, it's looking at their squad as well. Obviously, bar the 4 players you say, with probably Messi, Ter Stegen, Griezmann, and probably Dembele. There isn't many other players that stick out to you and think, wow, that's a very good 13 squad, like they had with Neymar, Suarez, which they lost Suarez this season. I think forgetting this as well. I think he's the top goal scorer in the La Liga again, and he's somehow got.
Well, you made a point in a previous podcast. It's like, imagine Sheffield United's presidency affecting like the whole of England. Barcelona's presidency has affected the whole of the Liga because of arguments they had up in higher positions. It's meant that Luis Suarez was sold to Atletico Madrid, which is mental. And he's the Liga's top goal scorer. He was the only one who was providing constant goals apart from Lionel Messi for Barcelona for so many years now. And they've sold him purely. There's no way it was a footballing reason. No way.
No. I mean, at the end of the day, they've not really replaced Suarez. They've got players in the squad like Griezmann who can fit in that role, but the signing of Martin Braithwaite last season just really confused me. That desperate signing you have to make, like obviously when sometimes in England when you get 3 goalkeepers injured, you gotta get a player in on loan. For example, decided to get the Middlesbrough icon that is Martin Braithwaite in. It's just, I feel like the past 5 years, ever since Neymar left Barcelona, I feel like the success of Barcelona has been stunted, I'd say. So really, the transfer strategy of Barcelona as well in the past 5 years has just been
poor.
Yeah,
to say the least.
Bar the players you've seen, like the Griezmanns you've brought in and Ousmane Dembele's.
Yeah, he's not bad.
They've brought him in because they had to fill a void, like with Neymar, so they had to sign someone because Neymar left, kind of thing. They're not really signing players like the Man City's do, where they come in, for example, like the Rodris, for example. I'm saying because second seasons, a lot of players now at Man City in their second season are performing extremely well. At Barcelona here, there's no players here that they bought that have suddenly set the world light in their second season. They're just signing players because they need players, kind of thing.
Yeah, and on big contracts too.
Yeah, so the youngsters they're getting in, obviously, I know that Serginho Dest, the American guy, is coming at right back, but he's not really a household name. He started right back at Barcelona at that age, and it's just crazy to me personally.
They started in centre mid yesterday. Who was that lad they signed from Las Palmas? I can't remember his name. I mean, that kind of speaks volumes.
Yeah.
But he did. There was talk after the game of him just starting from scratch and kind of starting bringing players through the Messiah Academy.
Pedri,
yeah. So they're not really names you kind of associate with Barcelona. I mean, look at that team. That team's ridiculous. But what they do next is they've got.
I don't know.
Well, they've got to make big decisions on these players that they've got on big contracts. They need to get likes of Coutinho gone. I can understand Dembele's starting to show a bit more promise, but like I can understand signings like Dembele's, but the amount they put on him, it was just kind of like a panic sort of.
Because like I said, because of the name.
Another club going to pay this much for him. When realistically, would have anyone have paid £140 million for Ousmane Dembele?
I think because they panicked so much about the Neymar whole thing, they needed someone in now straight away, and they weren't asked how much they were paying. So Dortmund go on and pay this much, and they went, yeah, go on in. And so Dortmund was laughing all the way to the bank because it's just ridiculous. So I mean, Ansu Fati's really, I think,
he's been probably a shining light for Mane.
Well, he's been injured very recently, and he's got a long injury. But I think he's probably going to be the one who's going to replace Messi, I believe, from the Messiah kind of academy thing. Anyway,
they've just got to let go. That the eras like that don't happen forever. And one thing big clubs should do is that they should start planning for life without these big players very early on. And it's clear to see that Barcelona just haven't.
So we want to segue onto that now. Is it now time for Lionel Messi to leave Barcelona? Yes.
Yeah. It's been time to leave Messi to leave Barcelona for the last 2 years.
2 years. Wow.
For him personally, if he wants to win stuff, he just has to leave. It's just how it is. I can understand if he would stay because he's been there forever, and if he wanted to be a one club man, like I can understand. It's like if you were playing for Bristol City, you'd want to play for Bristol City for your entire career, wouldn't you? But in a footballing terms, it makes no sense for him to stay there. They can't build a squad around him because by the time they've built a squad around him,
he's currently 33 years old.
Yeah. I mean, he'll have been gone. So he needs to be transferred into a ready-made team, ready to compete on all fronts. Whether that's at City, PSG, whoever. From a purely footballing terms, Messi has to move for me.
Well, it's not like you said. Then he needs to go into a competitive squad at Barcelona. It's not a competitive squad at the moment. Like we said about the start 11 that they played against PSG. The fact that Moise Kean had a transformation there at PSG and has done anything, that's a shit in new camp for one. I just feel like it doesn't sit right. Well, not sit right with me. I just feel like it's just crazy to think that Barcelona now are going to be possibly without Lionel Messi. Ronaldo's going to retire soon as well. It's on that transition period now where it's the end of the era for Messi and Ronaldo, and I feel like Messi personally as well, I agree with you. I think Messi's got to leave this season. I feel like if he doesn't leave this season, it's going to be even worse for Barcelona next season, I reckon. With, like I said, about the money loss as well. So I think if Messi does leave, he's actually might possibly keep Barcelona alive as well. with like they said they're in debt, they couldn't afford the Coutinho money.
Well, they said the other week that 30% of their income is from Messi at the moment in time.
So possibly he's going to leave him to leave, because I've seen, what was it in the newspaper I saw that recently, the new Messi contract's worth 50 million a year. So to offer 50 million to a player is...
It will just be purely for Barcelona about kind of balancing the books and getting kind of financially stable, I assume, this summer. I don't see how they can continue with this model. They'll just go bust, won't they? They will.
And that's what I'm saying to you. They probably might have to sell Lionel Messi just in order to stay alive. So there could be an incentive for like any clubs going purchasing Messi, for example, Man City or PSG.
Well, it wouldn't be purchased, would it? Like he'd be leaving on a free transfer.
What I'm saying is
to
like,
lose the wages.
It's kind of an incentive kind of thing for Barcelona to say, right, if we let us have Messi, we'll keep your club alive, for example, that kind of stuff. I'm just saying.
But of course, what you lose with Messi leaving is all the kind the financial packages.
I've done it at uni, so obviously when Ronaldo signed for Juventus, the amount of business and the shirt sales, I think, but like Juventus gained. I mean, in the streets of Turin, they were selling like tea towels of Ronaldo's face, and everyone was buying it. It was ridiculous how much of an icon footballers can be in real life. We don't realise. Obviously, you might just melt on the floor when you see like. Don't know, like
it's not just him as a it's the Team Messi brand in it. It's like everything that is associated with Messi goes from Barcelona then over to Manchester, over to Paris. And I think the Paris model, the way Paris have been operating, as well as signing these big players like with Neymar and Mbappe, you're seeing the results now of a squad that is kind of started building. You know, they got to a European final last season. Okay, they didn't win it, but it was kind of quite a boring final. And then this season, you know, they've qualified out of the group, and now there was a tough group, right? They had United and Red Bull Leipzig. Yeah. So they've qualified out of the group, and now they've got a big result against Barcelona, and they're very likely, despite another miracle, Barca come back against PSG to go through. And they'll be one of the favourites, I assume. They've got a lad at the moment with Mbappe, and that was without Neymar the other night. You've got to forget. So they've found a formula. They've got a manager who has found some sort of formula within that squad. Whereas Barcelona, what you forget about Barcelona as well is the manager is just not good enough, is he? Like Ronald Koeman is not a Barcelona manager.
So like we've seen in previous videos, you can't get an icon to become your manager at your club and expect results. Like we said about the Frank Lampard debate in the previous video about the
it can happen. I mean, it works for Zidane at Real Madrid, but it's just they've got to be targeting higher quality managers than that. But at the moment in time, Barca isn't an attractive proposition for someone to come to because they see the position they're in. They've just got to sort of let go of this old Barca side and just admit that it's finished and start again if they want any chance of pushing up the table in La Liga and pushing further on in Europe.
So realistically, where do you see Messi in this summer going?
It depends on the presidential race, doesn't it? And what the president, all the talk this morning is that no clubs have been in contact with Messi, obviously, because I think the ball is just firmly in Messi's court. It's whatever Messi decides.
Does Messi even get in your squad?
That's another conversation for another day. But now it depends on Messi. Does he want to stay there or does he not? The difference last summer is that even if Messi said, you know, like he did say, he didn't want to stay. Yeah. The power was back with Barcelona because he had a contract. Now he's out of contract. It's now on Messi. Does Messi want to stay and sign a contract with Barcelona, or does Messi decide to leave to whoever? Well, I mean, the two front runners obviously PSG and Manchester City.
I think influences are massive here. Like obviously at PSG, Neymar influence. Obviously, Neymar. You know, great friends with Lionel Messi and stuff like that, and successfully is. And obviously Man City is Pep Guardiola. Lots of players want to work with Pep Guardiola. Messi's had success. Pep Guardiola, he's had the most successful time ever at Barcelona.
Best mates in Manchester too.
Yep.
Sergio Aguero.
Exactly, and possibly Aguero could be his last season for Man City.
I spoke about this yesterday. If obviously the Aguero's out of contract in the summer at the moment, there's been no contract offer from City. But I don't see a world where Messi comes and Aguero's going on a plane the other way somewhere else. Yeah. Sergio Aguero will sign a new deal if Messi comes in. My thought at this moment in time, with results that are happening on the pitch, Messi will leave. Whether it's to PSG or City, no idea. I say City's more likely.
I think City's more likely as well because of the Pep Guardiola link. Like I said before, the most successful time Messi's ever had at Barcelona has been with Pep Guardiola. And
well, you think now City are doing so well in this false nine system, who's one of the best false nines to ever play football? It's Lionel Messi.
But what I'm saying to you is, I know obviously, you know, it is Lionel Messi and that kind of stuff, but the squad that Man City have got, you don't need another player.
No.
Like, You've got Ferran Torres coming through now as well. Bernardo Silva's still there. Foden. You've got Mahrez. You've got you can name.
I spoke about this the other day. It's like City want to go for Messi and a striker. Say that striker's Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
You think about the options City would have: Haaland, Aguero, Jesus. If for the front three positions, this is Messi, Mahrez, Sterling, Torres, Bernardo, Foden. That's 9.
That's what I'm saying to you.
I think this is going to be a big summer in the transfer market, not just because of Messi, but there's a lot of clubs that need to juggle about a lot of stuff. You know, the Mbappe situation's not concrete with a year left on his deal.
Is it? I didn't know.
He's got a year left after this year, so you know, PSG won't want to lose him for free. So it'd be either discussing deals with other clubs or it'd be Mbappe signing a new deal. Will that depend on if Messi comes? Will Neymar change his mind and wanting to stay at PSG if Messi doesn't come? Because I know that's one of the guarantees that they wanted Neymar to sign a new contract, that they'd go out and get Messi. God knows. But in terms of Barcelona, they're a mess and they need to rip it up and start again. as does kind of Lionel Messi in a way.
So overall, us collectively have said Messi, leave now when you can. You're not going to win anything this season now. It's going to be. You're going to, unfortunately, leave Barcelona with probably about 5 fans in the stadium.
Not even that.
Yeah, that's just unfortunately how it's going to be. You've had a good career, Lionel, at Barcelona.
I think that was one of the
time to go.
That's one of the things he said in his interview. He said it'd feel criminal if he just couldn't say goodbye to him. But it's looking more likely that he's not going to be able to. So it's time to go indeed.
On that note, it's time for us to go. Enjoy this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.